The history of the atoms. The atomic theory is a scientific theory of the nature of matter, stating the basic unit of matter as atoms. The first philosopher from 322 to 384 BC is Aristotle. For starters, Aristotle studied a variety of science and taught Alexander the Great. He also wrote many books on philosophy and meteorology. Aristotle believed that all substances were made of water, fire, air, and earth, and not atoms. Besides that, Aristotle also developed the scientific method. Moving on, we have from 370 BCE to 460 Democritus. Democritus said that the mixing of elements weren't easily separated once combined. He also thought that nothing could come from nothing and everything is already in the world and it's a matter of combinations and recombinations of atoms. Unlike Aristotle, Democritus was the one that said atoms made up life. He believed that atoms influence sense, sight, and soul. From 1743 to 1794, we have Antoine Lavoisier. He is known as the father of modern science and discovered that matter can change shape or form, but the mass remains the same. He proposed the law of conservation of mass, beginning modern science chemistry. He also influenced quantitative data over qualitative data in science. Next, from 1776 to 1844, we have John Dalton. He created the law of multiple proportions, chemical combinations that consist in the interaction of atoms of definite and characteristic weight. Referring back to atoms, he decided to go into more depth in the physical properties of the atmosphere and other gases. His atomic theory states that elements are made of small particles called atoms. Atoms of an element are identical in size, mass, and other properties. Atoms can't be created or destroyed, and they are different elements combined to form chemical compounds. Moving on from 1856 to 1940, we have J.J. Thomson, an English physicist. His main discovery was the electron, and he showed the cathode rays, which are negative, and the canode rays, which are positive. He calculated the electrons to be much smaller bodies than the atoms, with a large value for their charge-to-mass ratio. A part of his exploration was also finding the first evidence of an isotope. 1868 to 1953, we have Robert Millikan, who was an American physicist and invented the oil drop experiment that demonstrated the measure of a charge of a single electron. From this experiment, he also found the mass of an electron, the Avogadro's number, which was the number of atoms or molecules that were contained in the amount of substance. From 1871 to 1937 is Ernest Rutherford. He discovered the concept of radioactive half-life, differentiated the radiation of alpha and beta, and discovered the protons and used the hydrogen nucleus as an example. He said the positive charge and mass of an atom is a small volume at the center of the atom, and the volume of the atom was empty space occupied by electrons. From 1891 to 1974, James Chadwick discovered the neutrons and collaborated with Rutherford that led to the discovery of fission and the atomic bomb. He too proved that protons were the positive charge. Lastly, from 1892 to 1987 is Louis de Broglie. He said that all matter had wave properties, and he contributed to the quantum theorem, which improves our knowledge of the physical nature of atoms. The Bohr model shows the atoms positively charged surrounded by electrons that travel in a circular motion, although in today's day we use Rutherford's model of the atom. This includes the nucleus being made up of protons and neutrons while the electrons orbit around. Thank you for watching this timeline and the history of the atoms.